Welcome to the Android Guys Hot Take, the podcast where we discuss one topic in depth. Today is June 7th, 2018, and we're talking about the newly announced BlackBerry Key2. My name is Matt Adams, and I'm the managing editor here at Android Guys, and joining me today we have Andrew Myrick, another one of our managing editors. How's it going, Andrew?
Doing all right. How about yourself?
Pretty good. All right, BlackBerry Key2 was announced this morning. What are we looking at here, Andrew?
On the spec front, we got the Qualcomm Snapdragon 660 clocked in at 2.2 gigahertz, 6 gigs of RAM, 64 gigs of expandable storage, up to 256 gigs. A dual 12 megapixel camera system with quote unquote improved image stabilization, along with an added portrait mode and optical super zoom mode. And then on the software side of things, we have Android 8.1 Oreo with BlackBerry's D-Tech security software. And the BlackBerry lovers will rejoice as the dedicated hardware keyboard returns.
All right. So what are we looking at for price here? Because with those specs, I have a sneaking suspicion I'm going to be disappointed with the price.
And those sneaking suspicions you would be right. It's priced at $649, which is rough.
Yeah.
To say the least. Definitely rough.
You know, we were just comparing another couple phones, the Moto Z3 Play and the OnePlus 6, and how those prices compare, and those were at the $500 price range. Unless you really love that keyboard, I don't know why you would pick up a BlackBerry Key2 for $649, do you?
Outside of being dedicated to BlackBerry, no, I don't know why you would do that. Unless you wanted something different, because that's how they got everybody with the Key1 last year, bringing back the hardware keyboard. But $649, it's tough to justify that.
Yeah, I love the hardware keyboard, but boy, that's a big ask. You have a smaller display because of it. It's only 4.5 inches. And I mean, honestly, let's be honest here. That's more breakable parts. You know, you have a keyboard there. That's something else that can break and pretty much just destroy, your phone. I mean, I'm sure they're well built, but good Lord, I just can't fathom. There are a couple improvements this year. They made a couple design improvements. The glass panel now goes all the way to the top where it didn't last year. There are some bezels that have been cut out. There's a diamond pattern on the back instead of the soft touch from last year. The keyboard is 20% larger, but boy, I just can't make a case for this phone. Now one thing that is cool that they added, which I really like the thought of, is this new speed key. It consists of 9 dots spread out in 3 rows, and it's supposed to enable shortcut access to a bunch of stuff. It says that there's 52 shortcuts that you can set this thing to easily access things like frequent apps, contacts, more. But I don't really know if that's something that you are so pressed on time for, pulling up a frequently used app or a favorite contact. Do you really need a special key just for things like that? Wouldn't it be better if it was like, I don't know, a key for the camera? Something useful?
I mean, I guess so. It's just BlackBerry and TCL trying to throw whatever they can to make it seem like it's more useful. I mean, personally, I would love to try this phone out. I've been using a bunch of flagships, and it's been a while since I've switched to like a mid-range phone and used that primarily. And I've seen others like in our industry who reviewed the Key1 and ended up sticking with it or buying one of their own just because they liked it so much. Yeah. And this seems like a very much more BlackBerry and TCL really refined the design of it and added a few extra cool features. And I like the addition of the dual cameras. But in terms of being able to recommend it for the 650, that's tough. But it'd still be fun to use, I think, at least for a small period of time.
Yeah, I agree with you. There's definitely been a lot of people in the industry that have stuck with it, which I think says a lot when those people have access to all of the flagships out there that they're sticking with this device. But I'm in the same boat as you. Coming in at $650, it's hard for me to, go out and say to someone, listen, if you really love a keyboard, go pay almost flagship prices for this phone that does not have flagship specs. And what really I harp on is that processor. The 660 is a really, really good processor. It's clocked at 2.2 gigahertz, which, isn't terrible, but it's really hard for me to say, go pick up this phone that does not have the best processor out there and spend $600 plus. That's a ton of money. For me, the
Yeah.
only thing that really saves it is that keyboard and that detect security software, especially if you're a young professional. That I've heard is fantastic. So I just don't know if there is enough value there to pick it up over the OnePlus 6 or even, spend a little bit more and get a flagship like a LG G7 or something.
No, yeah, I definitely agree with you there.
All right. Well, that'll wrap it up for this episode of Hot Take. This is the podcast where we discuss one topic in depth. If you like what you heard today, you can subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, Google Play Music, Simplecast, Pocket Cast, or Stitcher. And if you like free stuff, head over to AndroidGuys.com. We're giving away both a Huawei Watch 2 Classic and a Huawei Band 2 Pro. You can enter for free, and we'll be drawing winners at the end of the month. So thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you next time.